Hello and welcome to another episode of the Electric Norwegian. I'm Mats. This time we're in the Xpeng G3. As some of you might have seen from we had a short test drive of it before Christmas. This is kind of an unashamedly Tesla copy because the car really is rather competent. It's raining today, quite heavily. So, you know, let's have a drive and talk about it and see where we end up. First, of course, I have to say thank you very much to Sarpsborg Bilsenter for lending me the car and giving me the option to test drive it. Now, I've been driving around a little bit with it already, and I picked it up with around 59% of battery. This one can do the fantastic thing of showing you both range and battery percentage at the same time, which is very nice. We've been driving maybe a few 200 kilometers or so, and we've used probably 60 kilometers of indicated range. But you see the weather, and rain is, apart from cold, it's around 4 degrees centigrade outside. One of those things that really just saps power out of a car. It is what it is. The controls fall easily to hand. The screen is relatively big. I think it's 15 inches. And it sort of reminds you a bit of the Tesla, if you've driven a Tesla in recent times. So and it's very easy to navigate. Very easy to navigate, very easy to use. It has a voice assistant that can't do anything for the time being, but I'm sure it will get. I'm having to sit with my legs like you do in a Model S in the back seat. Or you just don't have my legs aren't on the seats because the seats don't go far enough back, so I can't. I'd sort of sit like you do in a cramped van or something, and there's not. It works, and the seats are comfortable, but it wouldn't work over a long journey. So if you have very long legs, this, I'm afraid, is not necessarily for you. Now, as you can see and hear, it's not the most quiet car in the world. It is not, neither is it the most noisy car in the world, because it really isn't. I like the interior of this car. It's a nice place to sit, it's a nice place to be. The screen is big and easy to navigate. Steering wheel has the controls you expect them to have. The adaptive cruise is, however, limited to 120 kilometers an hour. That's alright. And it doesn't have automatic wipers, mind you. It has automatic everything else. It has storage space. It has an electric hatch, so you can open from the key or from the screen or from the hatch itself. It does seem a bit thirsty there. Now we've been doing on the motorway now, and we have an average of 250 watt hours per kilometer, which is not really that bad considering this is a crossover and it is rather wet outside. Like the screen, it's mostly very easy to navigate. I do hope they had the heated seat controls somewhere else. Maybe they have it in a quick menu. No, but you can, I'm sure, put them there, because then you can just tap that. That would be really nice. So let's try that, shall we? It has auto hold. No, not heated seats, sadly. You can adjust a lot of other things here, though. We're now using the adaptive cruise, and I tried the autopilot or the Xpilot, and it's not very good. It's kind of going all over the place. A bit like autopilot a really bad autopilot system, because it really doesn't work at all very good. I'm on version 2 of the software on the car though. I did check, and it is clearly room for improvement. Not so much of the car's infotainment system and all that. That's very good, but the driver assistance systems, particularly the Xpeng, is not nearly as good as many others, like Volvo and so on. The adaptive cruise is perfectly adequate. We have an average consumption now of 243 watt-hours per kilometer. And I must say, it is devouring its battery rather quickly. I'm a bit disappointed in that. It's not promising, this. We now used around 20% battery since we left home, and we haven't driven that far. Let's get off the motorway and find somewhere dark. One thing this car really, it does ride rather good. And as you can see, these are the low beam, clear, crisp LED, probably. Haven't checked really, but they're very good, and they cut through even the rain and everything very well. So I don't know. Not very impressed. No. They're not terrible, far from it. It's not an ionic. They're just, you know, but you can never get enough range on a set of lights. It's nothing that the light bar won't fix, of course. So we've driven probably around 100 kilometers today then. On 50%, well, I'm not 50, not nearly 50. We've driven around, we've been 77.9 now, so yeah, say around 90 kilometers maybe, on what? 30% of the battery ish. That's not bad, actually. That's a mix of motorway and that's a mix of motorway and country roads, though. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe 150 full charge on a day like today. Or if you're doing out of motorway. If you're not doing out of motorway, you can probably easily get this thing into 200 or more. I also like the way they've set up the region here. It's very well, like in most modern electric cars, it's just so natural. It flows so naturally and gives you a wonderful way to just modulate your speed. It's not too harsh, it's not too soft, it's just very well. You can adjust it, of course, if you want none or very low and so on. This is now the hardest. It works very well. The sound system is good. Not brilliant, wow brilliant, but good. You know, it does what it's supposed to do. And it does it rather well. This is a really... It's the first car Xpeng builds.
Yes.
No, not you, Xpeng. Go away.
An error occurred. Please try again later.
I'm impressed. I like this thing. I know I always say this, but this is like, whoa, where did you guys come from kind of thing, and then you build this. Like the Maxus and stuff, that's SAIC. SAIC have been building cars in China for a long time. They have the competence. This company is pretty new, and along with a few others that popping up now, hire the right people and they get the competence, and then if they don't have it, they work with some foreign brands like GM or Ford or whatever, in the home market and build competence internally. Got a feeling, partly that's probably true, but it is also the building up. I mean, if you're gonna do some work at your house and you don't know how to do it, you hire a carpenter to do it, or you co-work with someone who knows that job, and on that journey you will learn. It's kind of the same thing. And before you come screaming, oh my god, you copied Tesla. Yes, they did, but last time I checked, Tesla has a lot of more or less open sourced patents that people can use. If you want to build an electric car, here is our recipe to do so. No one have taken them up on it. These have. I'm not saying who, because the thing will go off again, but you know. And as this is, it is good. It's not built for very long Europeans or very long Vikings, but most people don't have that issue around the world after all. It steers well, it rides very well, the seats are good, you see where you're going very well indeed, not directly at the back, partly because this car doesn't have a rear wiper. The mirrors are good. You can see miles out of this huge windscreen. It feels like they've been building cars for 30 years. Fit and finish, and the cup holders aligned with this nice textile material. The armrest feels nice. There's nothing here that feels flimsy or loose or shakes or anything. It all is. Let me put it this way. I drove a new Toyota Prius, that's what, 3 years ago now. We borrowed it from Toyota. It was a demo car. The armrest part of the car was flimsy and you could sort of shake it. And that's a Toyota. That's one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world. It was crap. It was cheap, it was crap, it was built down to a price, and it was just... Yeah, no. This comes out of a factory no one's ever heard of, and it feels proper. Well, now we're doing 50 kilometers, foot hard down, and that's 80. So yeah, there's a poke in this thing. The way it gathers speed, and also at least when you're on part throttle and you slow it, it does move. The whole thing, the steering, the suspension, the seats, it just feels like a really competent job. There's so much else out there I've been driving that's not been close to this. No. I'm just more and more impressed. And I'm trying to get the bloody battery to go down, and it just won't go down. It's 22% now. And I want to go down to 15 before I charge it. Because if I'd gone out on the motorway, I'd done that in a blab, because it's kind of shove it electrons around on the motorway, particularly on a wet day like today. But when you're not on the motorway, then it just doesn't really consume very much energy at all. That's one bad thing about this though, the charging. It has only CHAdeMO after all. And yeah, as we all know, CHAdeMO is sort of limited to 62.5 kilowatt hours. Even though it technically can take 100, yeah, there's 2 places in Norway I think you can do that, and there won't be any more. You don't bother upgrading the CHAdeMO, as it is after all a dying standard, at least in Europe. We have all the Kia Souls of the previous generation and the Livingevs and Leafs of the world that runs on CHAdeMO, so it won't vanish, it won't go away. That's at least not for the foreseeable future. But seeing as no new cars in Europe except for this and the Lexus, I think, uses it. And this seems to be also the only car, the only Xpeng that does it. The P7, the saloon, uses a CCS, I think. So it's sort of, you know, the charge operators can't really be bothered, and I can understand why. Here's the charge screen. I forgot to tell you, you can see the charge curve here. So now we're at 40, what's that, 45 probably? It's pretty flat. I discovered something exciting. I've been babbling on about how incredibly competent this car feels to drive. It turns out, if I've got my facts correct, one of the persons involved in setting the chassis up for this car previously worked for Porsche. And that sort of explains things, because if you've learned your chassis setup in one of the best sports cars companies in the world, then, well, that explains why this one rides better than... This car is a ride that's better than almost anything else I've come across. I mean, it's such a high level and so competent that you just could where did Xpeng come up with it? And they came up with they nicked Porsche's person. Yeah, the climate control is running 25 degrees because this massive windscreen is kind of sucking energy out of the car. But you know, like I mentioned, you don't freeze, it's not a problem, it's just an observation. 200 horses and 300 Newton doesn't really sound like much, but when you kick this thing, when you're on the road, it really doesn't lack power. Of course, unless you're an absolute powerhead and you want to have a performance everything, then you will notice it's slower. It's, you know, most people won't notice. It doesn't matter. And it absolutely doesn't understand unless you provoke it very, very hardly. Very hard. Unless you really, really push it, and it doesn't understand at all. So yeah, and it's front wheel drive, so there's no reason to throw a lot of horsepower at the front wheels. They will just be chaos, and you don't want that, and you definitely don't need it either. If you like the video, push the like button. If you want to see more content, then you have to subscribe. I know a lot of you viewers don't subscribe, you just watch the content, and that's fine. And leave a comment if you want. And I'll try and deliver the car without crashing it. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care out there. Bye bye.